Hello there and be welcome! If you're new here, my name is Erica, I make anime dolls, I manufacture parts for them, fashion, and I also customize them and paint them sometimes. And today we're making Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I'm actually a huge fan, like there's the proof right there.
But in this video we're not painting a head from scratch, we're not doing that.
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
Oh!
That is a lot of work. I'm gonna keep it as easy and simple as possible. And rather than painting a head from scratch, I'm going to paint over an existing face-up. So when you first buy a doll, they usually already come with their faces already painted like this one. So all I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna tweak her original face-up a little bit in order to achieve Rei. That is a lot easier than painting a head from scratch. And if you already have a doll that you had for a few years and you get bored of her, it's a really good way to, mix things up and change her up. Let's get started. The doll that I'm gonna use for this video is Dollfie Dream Takane Shijo. As you can see from this photo, her face already looks a lot like Rei Ayanami, so she's gonna be perfect for this. Okay, so let's assess what we have in here. I'm not gonna touch her eyelashes because those already look a lot like Rei, but this mouth is smiling too much for Rei Ayanami, so I'm gonna tweak the two edges of the mouth to make it look more melancholic. For that, you're gonna need some ultra fine Q-tips, you're gonna need nail polish remover, and just make sure to soak it really well in a nail polish remover. Now I'm gonna start rubbing the two edges of her mouth, and what I want to do is remove those little peaks that you see on the two sides that make it look like she's smiling. I'm making sure I don't touch anything else from her mouth, just those little peaks from the side, and this is what it should look like. Now I gotta remove the other side of the smile, you know the drill, same thing, you're just gonna rub and rub until that's completely removed. You can use normal Q-tips to help you, and that's it, that's what it should look like. I'm gonna use 1000 grit sandpaper to just smooth out the area. So without the smile, this mouth already looks a lot like Rei. I could honestly leave it like this, but I'm gonna do something else later on. For now, let's start removing the eyebrows. I'm only going to remove half of the eyebrow. I'm gonna leave the other half in there, and that is going to act as a guide so you know where to draw them and you don't have to be so good with symmetry. If the Q-tip is not enough, you can also use a cotton ball. You can just soak it really well and just keep rubbing.
Keep going, you're good, and stop.
Here is a trick. If you are removing the paint and you feel like the paint is getting smudged all over the face and it's not coming off no matter how much you rub, do not panic.
It will come off.
What you're going to do is that you're going to take your cotton ball, you're going to soak it really well in the nail polish remover, and you're going to press on the paint. So press on it and leave it in there for like 20 seconds. You can count, and what that is going to do is that it's going to soak the paint and make it a little more loose and easy to remove. Then you just rub it and you'll see it'll come off. So I left half of her eyebrows in there, as you can see here. That's gonna serve me as a guide, and she's ready to go. Okay, so this is important. I don't recommend spraying the head right after removing paint with the nail polish remover. The reason for that is because the head is made of vinyl. It's a very porous material, so it will absorb a lot of liquids. You need to let the head rest for at least a night, leave it overnight, and that way you can make sure that all of those liquids evaporate from the head, and then you can spray it with no problem.
No problemo.
Okay, so at this point I already sprayed the head and I forgot to record it, but I am still going to show you how to do it. So shake the can, and what you're going to do is that you're going to move the can in a circular motion. You can also move the head in a circular motion, and that way you can make sure you get an even coat all over. That's it. Easy enough, right? Now we're gonna get to the artsy part. You're gonna use some pastel chalk pencils, an eraser, and you're gonna use an Xacto knife in order to cut the eraser in really small pieces. I'm also gonna use some tweezers. That's gonna make it easier to grab on those tiny eraser pieces and work on the head like this. Spraying the head gives you a base for you to draw and paint on top. Now I'm drawing the shape of the eyebrows with the pastel pencils. I want them to look a little melancholic, almost like she's a little sad. The awesome thing about the pastel pencils is that it doesn't matter if you mess up. You can erase it as much as you want, and then you can just try again until you're happy with the shape. Now that I have the general shape of the eyebrow, I'm gonna go on top of it with this darker pencil, and I'm going to define it. Alright, this eyebrow is taking shape. I'm gonna leave the center of the eyebrow a little lighter, and I'm going to clean up the edges with the eraser. And now I'm just going to repeat the same process on the other side. And again, don't worry if you're not really good with symmetry, because the good thing about these pencils is that you can erase them and try again. Okay, so far so good. After you spray the head again, those colors will become a lot more intense, and you can draw on top of it again to make them even more intense if you want.
Okay, so this is the part of the video where I lied to you.
I told you that everything was going to be as easy and simple as possible, but painting the mouth takes skill and practice. That part is not easy. But remember what we did before? We erased the two little peaks on the side of her mouth that made the smile, and now she's serious. You can just leave the mouth like that. You don't have to do what I'm about to do. And then you can blush the mouth, and I promise you that's gonna make a huge difference. That's gonna make it look very pretty. And I am going to show you how to blush the entire face, but after I go and complicate my life with this mouth. Alright, so these are the materials that I'm gonna use to make this complicated mouth that I really want. Get the finest painting brush that you can find. This one is really good quality. Some retardant additive for acrylic paint of course, plastic containers in case I want to save the colors for later, and a cheap brush because you don't want to blend the colors with an expensive brush. So I want my version of Rei to have a melancholic expression. So I'm going to extend the dark part of her mouth, and then I'm going to paint white on top of that to make it look like her mouth is a little open. I really think that is going to add to the sad expression that I'm looking for. So this is the part that I'm telling you that is not that easy to do because you don't want to mess up. But again, this part is completely optional. You don't have to paint on top of the mouth if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Okay, so this is the mouth that I just painted. I think it's very pretty. And now the part that we were all waiting for, the blushing.
This is gonna be sweet. I'm so pumped.
The good thing about blushing is that you can do it to any doll at any time. For example, this is my Mirai. It's the first generation that they launched a few years ago, and I was getting a little bored of her, you know? So all I did was
Blush the area above her eyes.
and I blushed her cheeks a little more because it was wearing out. And I think she looks adorable. It made a huge difference on her. So it's a great method to upgrade your doll if you want a little change. Alright, so these are soft pastels. I'm just gonna choose a couple colors for her face. You don't need this many colors. These were just gifted to me. I'm gonna go with these two colors. I'm gonna choose this warm pink for her lips and her cheeks, and this light brown for her eyelids. I'm gonna draw with these colors on a blank piece of paper, and that is going to create dust that you will be able to pick up with a makeup brush. You are basically creating makeup for her face. Before you start blushing, go spray the face real quick. You need to save all the work that you have done so far. Now that her face is sealed, take a makeup brush and pick up the dust like it's makeup. And I'm going to apply it to her cheeks the same way that I would apply blush to my own cheeks. I like to use a highlighter brush to remove the excess. This is really easy and quick to do. Okay, so now let's move on to the eyelids. I'm gonna take a darker color and blend it with the lighter one. Yes, you can actually blend pastel colors. I'm gonna take a smaller makeup brush and I'm going to apply it to her eyelids, same way that I did with the cheeks. If you feel like you messed up somewhere, you can remove the pastel colors with an eraser and try again. Now let's move on to her mouth. For this part I'm using a really small painting brush, and I'm using the same colors that I used for her cheeks. But you can use a darker color if you want. So do you remember that her mouth used to be a simple line before I painted this open mouth that I really wanted? Painting the mouth is optional. You can just blush her lips on top of the existing line that she already had before. Okay, lips are done, and look how cute that looks. I am very pleased. That is really cute. The last thing that I'm gonna do to this head is that I'm gonna take a light brown and I'm going to contour her nose. Just a little bit. I want it to be very subtle. I don't want to overdo that part. And that's it, we're done.
You're done.
I'm gonna go spray this head a couple more times so I can make sure that the blushing lasts me a long time. And I'm gonna use gloss varnish to make her lips look glossy. Let's put her together. Ingredients. I got my short blue wig, I got her shiny red eyes, with spice, an Attica flex body because I'm making a curvy Rei, and some Dollfie Dream limbs, you know, as toppings. A white outfit with black details to season it up. Combine all those ingredients together and cook your mixture. And voila! My delicious rendition of Rei Ayanami. And that is it. I think she came out really beautiful. I really like her, and I hope you enjoy watching me make her.
Look who needs attention.
You know Muffin is mandatory. Like if I'm gonna create some content, you know
You know you're bound to look at Muffin a little bit. I love you, mi bebe.
Thank you so much for watching.